Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I am so excited today. My guest is Tara Brunet, and I know very little about Tara. I know basically one line, and I know that Tara is a master manifester. And, what I love about that is this is something that so many people are interested in,
hmm
right? Like, you know, first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so
I'm
excited to
I'm
chat.
so excited to talk to you. Oh my goodness. So tell me about what it is you do. How did you come to do this?
Yeah, so I'll give kind of the Cliff Notes version, but basically I struggled for a really long time with the eating disorder, bulimia, binge eating, anorexia, kind of the whole deal.
Yep.
And I was just obsessed with like weight loss and all of those things. And I actually became a personal trainer, and it was my dream to like own my own studio. And I ended up picking up the book The Secret, and I made my first vision board. And from there, my life just completely changed. Like it got me into self development and mindset and manifestation. And when I read that book, it just like made so much sense to my something in me was like, I just know that this is true. And I ended up like within 2 years becoming a nutritionist and having my own gym and having staff and all the stuff. And I was a sold out trainer. It was my dream. And then I got just very burnt out, realized that it wasn't actually my dream anymore. And I really wanted freedom and to be online. And I wanted to go to this retreat in Bali with another manifestation mentor, and it was really expensive, and I was like, okay, universe, like let's make this happen. And I was really trying to force it through like my online workout videos. Like I couldn't possibly do any more like training or classes, and it just wasn't working. And I finally kind of just like surrendered, and I had this nudge, and this is kind of how I really follow my intuition. I just follow kind of the nudges that come through to offer just an online 4-week course about manifestation called Manifest Mondays. And I just put that out there with so much excitement, and it was like it brought me all the money I needed to go to Bali for this retreat. And like from there I just knew like this is what I meant to do and what I meant to teach. So I ended up kind of retiring the gym, and I just went full time online, and I teach about manifestation and mindset. And I really also specialize with like dream body stuff, and that can include weight loss, but healing your relationship with food, intuitive eating. Like I'm all about like no restriction, no diets, no routines, like nothing, like total freedom. And when I applied my own manifestation methods and intuitive eating together, I ended up losing like over 40 pounds, and it was just easy and effortless. And I finally was free from the food struggle and body struggle. So I definitely kind of specialize in that area with the body stuff. And then I teach about everything. So
That's fascinating. I love
yeah.
everything you just said.
Thank
You hit on so many amazing pieces, right? Like, you know, body image is so massive, right?
you.
It's a disease across the planet, right? And it's that it affects our ability to do anything, really. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you can't think straight. Your emotions are tied up, so your relationships suffer, your career suffers, like everything. You're being a parent or a child or a partner, like everything, right? It's it's kind of amazing. I love that you I love that you came out of your struggle not by focusing on it, but because a higher awareness came in. And
hmm
and reading the book The Secret and understanding that there was a higher power. And you
hmm
just, like that's what I'm feeling is that, you know, it was that moment that you woke up and went, "Oh, right, this is who I am."
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely this remembering of like what was true. And I got really into reading like The Journey of Souls. And I don't know if you've heard of Anina Morjani. Have you heard of her? She is
No.
incredible. She had a crazy like near death experience, and she wrote a book about it. And she basically healed her entire body of it was like 75% riddled with tumors. Like she basically died of cancer, and then
Yep.
had this near death experience, came back, and completely healed, and like is living her best life. And everything she says in her book, I'm just like, this is yes, this is right. Like
Yes, right?
yeah,
Yes. Yes. It's
yeah.
it's fantastic and I love so much that your energy shifted, right? Like and that's what I find when people go through these awakenings, right? Because that was your first awakening. And a lot
Yeah.
of people, right? But then a lot of people will sit on it and then they stay there and they don't continue to grow. And you were like, oh my gosh, now I know and I need to know more, right? And then we go on
Hmm.
this journey and from my understanding is that's why we're here. Humans are here to explore our potential. So
Yeah.
my experience with people who even though you may not fully, comprehend all that, but you just know you learn something and you're like, whoa. And it feels like you went down a rabbit hole. Like you're just
Yeah.
like, I need to learn as much as I can about, about existence and how people are doing these things and healing. And I love, I love that you had the ability to relax into discovering yourself,
Hmm.
And because when we do that, we become powerful and you can see where you shifted and then you're able to get more information from your intuition, right? Because that's really what it is. That's our soul talking to us, which
Yeah.
most people are, it goes right over their head. They're like, that's my instinct, that's my intuition. Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah, and I
soul.
was so closed off to it before and completely like in my mind and just obsessed with, like calories and weight loss and all those things. And it definitely just completely opened up my mind to this whole other world. And then I went on, now I'm obsessed with everything to do with manifestation.
But it's obsession that is what makes us unique. And we're meant
Mhm.
to be, It's funny, actually.
Yeah.
We had this conversation last week, and in the last couple of weeks, there's this amazing man, Tim Grover, phenomenal. And he talks about obsession. He trains the best athletes in the world.
I've read his book.
Oh, there you go. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love his perspective on obsession. Like
Hmm.
it hit me, and it's like it was that confirmation that there's other humans who are as obsessed as I am with
Yeah.
reaching their potential. And it
Yes.
made me feel like, okay, I'm not totally alone. Yeah, he's fantastic. So
Hmm.
so okay, so there's so many things I know I keep saying that, but I'm like, I'm just in love with your story. And it's what I love the most too is how you instantly recognized, yeah, I mean, there's so many people who've read The Secret. There's
Yeah.
so many people who've watched the movie, but they don't get the fullness of it. And
Hmm.
not only did you get it, but you used it and you started using it right away. And then you went beyond what it had to offer, which is
Yeah.
so,
I mean, I feel like The Secret is like a gateway, but it like
yes,
barely scratches the surface. Like there's just so much to understand in this realm of our minds and our emotions and like moving through emotions and our body connection and like our perceptions of reality. It's just like, and I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. And I just love reading about it and learning about it. And I'm just so fascinated by the power of our minds, like in healing and creating our dream lives. Like another kind of crazy story is I was like, okay, I'm ready for my soulmate. And I kind of cleared kind of the blocks I was having around my worthiness. And I really just like felt the feelings of love. Like I really connected with that. And within 2 days, I was like, I really want to go surprise my best friend, Lauren, in Ontario. We had a podcast together, we had a business together, but we never met in person. So I contacted her roommate who lived with her part-time to help me with the surprise, and he phoned me that night and we talked on the phone for 2 hours and we just instantly knew within 2 weeks we were engaged. We got married after 3 months during COVID, and it was like my intuition just led me across the country, across Canada, to another province where he was, right to his doorstep. It's like
amazing.
insane.
I love that. But
Yeah.
it's so it but that's the thing is, our society doesn't encourage that. It encourages,
Mm-hmm.
planning and thinking things through, but really all that planning and thinking things through, it opens the gateway to fear.
1,000%. And since
And
having a baby, I've definitely like noticed myself more like, okay, I need to be logical, I need to be responsible, blah 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 blah. And over the past 2 years, it's been so much harder. And I've just recently been really realizing like, okay, when everything in my life was just magical, it was like I was connected to my intuition. I didn't care what anyone else said. And it was only when I started being like, oh, I need to listen to that. I need to like follow
yeah.
what this person's doing. And it's like that never works. It never works.
It doesn't, and yet when another human comes out of your body and you're like, I need to sustain their life. And
Yeah.
that's where those thoughts come in. And you're like, I can't, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe that's, maybe that's what's gonna, yeah. I,
Yeah.
oh, I just remember those first few months where it's like, it's okay, but it's not okay. And
Yeah.
yeah. And then it just keeps going. I have a 10-year-old now. How old is yours?
He's two.
He's two. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh God. I love all the ages. Really, who am I kidding? But it's fascinating because even for me, when I was pregnant and they said, like so I met my son's soul before I conceived him and then conceived him consciously. And it was quite the experience. And then while I was pregnant, I was like, okay, what do we do at school? And they were like, well, he just needs to be with you. And I was like,
Mm.
okay. But again, everybody has an opinion on that. But 2 days later, across my desk comes this article about unschooling. And I was
Mm.
like, oh. And then I literally looked it up and there was Harvard studies on it. And I was like, okay. And it's funny now, 10 years later, I'm like, did I even need the Harvard study? Nope, I did
Yeah.
not need the Harvard study. But again, we use those things to justify, right? And I think we
Mhm.
live in a world where Harvard studies are common currency, right?
Yeah.
And they hold us back from following our instincts and following our intuition. And, you know, I know that you're helping people overcome perspectives of themselves and,
Mhm.
and the beliefs that they hold that keep them locked where they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, how are you feeling in your journey right now?
That's a great question. It has been, it has been, yeah, definitely a kind of like dark night of the soul, like since giving birth and just before my business was my baby, and I felt very like it was everything to me, and then your priorities flip upside down. So I feel like I have really been discovering like just what I really want moving forward and what that's going to look like. And it's been hard. I feel like I lost a lot of confidence like after I had my son, and I started to question myself more. And I think that was a result of putting so much pressure on myself and um along with raising a newborn. But I feel like just now, like I'm really like, okay, I know that I already know that this is what I'm meant to do. And it's just really coming back to that innate trust and my intuition and leaning back into like I just believed so fully, and I just stopped listening to myself a little bit. Like I listened to myself so much with mothering, like my home birth and all the things. And I know that I'm like an amazing mom. And I'm like,
Yes.
what I want to remember that again around my
Yep.
career, because I definitely started to I placed so much of my kind of self-worth in how hard I worked and how much I could like, create. And now it's different and I have a very limited schedule and it's like that's just all I can do. So it's been a transition.
It's interesting too because and I went through the exact same thing, which is it's fascinating because of the way we've been trained to think about work and how work needs um, to to support us, which is
Mhm.
fascinating actually. So what? So I'm gonna. They want me to share one of my stories with you to give you a little bit of insight, and then they're going to share your specific details that are pertaining to you and your future. Okay.
Okay.
So when I was pregnant and then yeah, it was just before and I said, okay, like how many hours are we supposed to work? Right? Because I'm always asking these kinds of questions. I'm like, what is it supposed to look like? And they said 10% of your time. So I got the math out and I did the math for the week and how many hours, and it came out to 15 and a half hours, which is 2 days.
Wow.
And I went, okay, but it's understanding what that means because we've lost that understanding of the bigger picture. And for people who are working with humans and supporting humans to have transformations, we have to be in a place of calm. We have to be in a place of comfort with ourselves. And that means, yes, I'm working with other humans 10% of the time, but the bigger picture is the other 90% of the time, I'm always on. I'm always learning. You know that. Once you had that shift in that awareness, you haven't shut off. You're
No.
learning whether whether you're getting up in the morning and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel quite right. What do I need to know, right? About my
Mhm.
body, or again, you were talking about motherhood, knowing a home birth was right, like all of these things. So moving across the country, right? Or having like going across the country to find your partner, um you know in weeks, right, getting engaged, like these are things that you know it is work, and that's what people don't we we, we water that down because they're things we can't see, right? We
Mhm.
can't quantify it. It's like, well, it just changed my life by following my instincts, and you're learning, and that's bringing you closer to fulfilling your higher calling in this life, right? That higher
Mhm.
purpose. It's
Mhm.
understanding that having your son did that, conceiving and then carrying your son and then giving birth and now raising this human are also part of your story. So
Mhm.
when they said that to me, I was like, okay. And then it was really cool, this thing that happened, because when my son was about, when he was 2.5, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to start, because I was only at that point seeing clients that I knew. I wasn't
Mhm.
opening it up to anyone else. I was only doing clients that I had had forever, and I would do them on my son's nap time because he didn't
Mhm.
really nap and he would nurse. And so he hummed when he nursed. And honestly, in the background of all their recordings, because my clients always record their calls, is him humming for
Yeah.
like 3 years. And so it's hilarious because, you know, it didn't matter because the people that want to work with you will work with you when it works for you. I had zero interest in participating in sending him to a daycare or anything, but because that wasn't for me, right? Because they
Mhm.
also said he just needs to be with you. And I was like, how the hell is that going to work? I'm an only
Yeah.
parent. I'm running an international company. I'm helping people from all over the world. How's that going to work? And so and then as he got older, different things happened. So there was one woman who lives locally, and she was able to take him for one morning a week. So it was that first taste test. He was 3 that I had of being away from him, but also him being away from me.
Mhm.
And it went well. And then magically, this incredible woman who's also, we're unschooling, and she's also unschooling. Her 3 children had an opening, and we just connected. And so he goes there 2 days a week, and he still does.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for six
Yeah,
years. The right people show up at the right time,
it's
but it
true.
doesn't mean you need to stop working now. The thing is that the clients who want you, they don't care that you have a 2-year-old going, mommy, mommy, because they want what you have to offer. And if they know up front, like I'm home with my 2-year-old and this may happen, or he's having his nap, but he may not today. Ha ha ha.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's because that's just how it rolls. But it's also really cool because I have some other friends who feel uncomfortable not being 100% focused on their child when they're with their child. And it's funny, I can feel the energy of that. It blocks them from exploring their own potential too, because they don't have that space without us. Because as
That's
as
true.
as moms, let's face it,
Mhm.
we are the number one biggest influencer in their life. We
Mhm.
influence everything they do,
Yeah.
right? Like I think about some of the craziest things my son's ever done, and they always happen when I'm like in the shower for 2 minutes, right? Because we do influence everything. So I'm not setting you up to, have marker all over your floor. Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Hardwood floors and permanent marker. It was
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Oh yeah, but at the end of the day, it's it's part of being a parent, right? It's part of everybody exploring all the things. And for you right now, what they're showing me is before I go into that, I want to ask you, so when you say the dark night of the soul, that how long has this been feeling? How long have you been feeling this?
Hmm. feel like I'm coming out the other side, but probably like 3 months after he was born, we had to move, and it was just very stressful. Moved
Yep.
our whole family into a camper van,
Yep.
with a dog and two cats and a toddler. And yeah, and then I just started. Yeah, I don't know. I just for some reason, like my career was effortless at the beginning, and it still is like going amazingly, but I just really started to question myself and like if I was good enough, because I could no longer do the output that I could. So I'm trying to like transform that idea.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you know what the problem is. And what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
problem is you can feel what doesn't feel right. It's like I
Mm-hmm.
can't do this much. I can't and I can I also say that I love your living situation like that. We literally, Jerry, just before COVID bought a massive school bus to convert into a
Oh my
house
God,
because I
amazing.
have two cats and two dogs. And I was like, if we're living on the road, then we all need to be because they're two big dogs. And I was like, anyways, super. So yeah, we're totally on the same page, Sarah. I love this. But so what they're showing me right now is, humanity, like 2024 is the year of purity. We're creating right now new foundations. Purity is communication. And it's not communication with other people and yes, it's a little bit of that. Mostly it's communication with yourself. How you talk to yourself about yourself and what's important to you and what you want to do with the world, what you want to do with your life. And this is the part that most people are getting tripped up on right now and why it feels, like that dark night of the soul because we really we want to succeed because we know we're meant to.
Mhm.
And yet it's really challenging when circumstances change and we feel like we're trying to fit the old model into our new life. And you
Sorry
have
about
to say goodbye to that life. And what I
that.
feel, yeah, what I feel like is it's like have a like a sacred burning, like a ceremony, and do it with your husband, with your son, and have it as a celebration of a new life.
Hmm.
And I have goosebumps. Like,
That makes me want to cry.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? It's time for you to let Tara go because the Tara from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, she's stronger. She's got more vision, more courage, and more value to offer than ever before. You can't bring the old Tara along. She's done. That whole belief system, that dynamic, she isn't big enough for the Tara you've become. So what they're showing me is have a bonfire and write down the awesomeness of who you were to get you to where you are today and also who you've become. So it's a celebration of where you're going and you know how to manifest. So you're going to write down all the intentions that you have for your family and your career going forward because now you get to combine the two. And that's really what was happening is you were trying to bring the old and fit it into the new and you just have to let it go because now you get to create something that is entirely new that fits for all five of you. Three, no, six of you, because there's two cats and a dog. Is that what you said? Two cats
Yeah.
and a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all six of you, it has to fit for everybody, period.
Mhm.
If it doesn't, you're going to be stressed.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That is a matriarch's role. And if people don't understand that, then that's what's the root. Like our natural instinct is I have to make life work for my family. And your
Mhm.
family is everyone that you need to sustain.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that's just it, right? And my son keeps saying, "Can we get a snake? Can we get that?" And I'm like, "No, nothing else that needs to be sustained is coming into this house. I am at my
Yeah.
capacity, right?"
Yeah.
But it's understanding that, you know, you may not need to sustain your husband's life, but your goal is to sustain your part of the relationship with him. So you are sustaining that, you know? You're not
Mhm.
sustaining him. He's a grown adult. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but at the same time, we do need to participate, and it takes a lot of effort to sustain a relationship.
Hmm.
So you need to have that ceremony. You need to have that. It's like a closing and a reverence to the old, and holding it as sacred, but also now saying, okay, it's a blank slate. What are we going to do with it? What do we want to do? Because that's going to free you from all the things you've been trying to take with you from your business. You've outgrown them. You have so
Hmm.
much more to offer. You're so much more dynamic. The courses that you're going to create are going to be so much more fulfilling for you and for your clients. I keep seeing like a 12-week course and another um, year-long membership. So those two will be your like flagship foundational. So you're not going to be working all the time. You're going to
Hmm.
be, 12 weeks. And once that program is recorded, it's there forever. And then you
Hmm.
can offer it to other people whenever it feels right, whether it's an
Hmm.
ongoing thing or you just offer it once or twice a year. But you can, and then you can decide if you want to offer it as the recordings or if you want to offer a pure essence of it each time and you go live. But
Hmm.
you know that already, like it's changing and it needs to change. And then the other part is I do see like the membership, and the membership is just like a weekly meetup.
Hmm.
And it's just, you know, like what's working and what's not working in your manifestation plan here, and because when humans come together, right, we're we're guided by one human who can keep us on track, right? Like when you're
Hmm.
keeping everyone in that community on track, like, okay, let's go back to manifestation. So you're trying to manifest, this is why it's not working, you know?
Hmm.
But when you say that to one person, the other 80 people, 90 people, 100 people that are in that community are like, oh, that's why it's not working. Got it.
Hmm.
So you're
Hmm.
hitting everybody with the same magic, right? So you can take 4 or 5 questions a week and unbelievably be affecting everyone in the community because that's how it works. So
Hmm.
now you're helping more people. You're still in, you're growing your income bracket, but you're not limited to trading time for money because you're not
Hmm.
meant to trade time for money. Your
Yeah.
time is meant to be focused on where you want it to be focused, and yet you still have to fulfill your inner calling. If you're
Hmm.
not doing that, you won't feel fulfilled and you will become resentful. It's ingrained in who you are, Tara.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah. I know
can't
that.
not be you, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's been your I can fear it. Like I can feel I can feel the fear of the struggle. And the fear is, how can I be me inside of this new life? How
Hmm.
can I still be me? And that's what they were saying is letting the vision of you and who you thought you were go because you've become so much more.
I didn't know what I was getting into today, but I had
Sorry.
no idea. No, it was good though. It was like, it's actually so crazy because like I was just talking to my husband 2 nights ago, like just how much I've been struggling with like, like I don't know who I am and like this, how much everything has changed. And I feel like I'm grasping at like the old Tara, trying to like bring her back and like not recognizing, like you said, like there's so much more. And it's not about trying to get her back. It really is. And like letting that go feels like really sad for me, I guess, but also exciting to like stop trying to like pull it into this reality when
And
it's
that's
not
why you're
working.
going to have a celebration. You're literally
Yeah.
going to do it as a sacred ceremony because that will let you celebrate her,
Hmm.
but let her go.
Yeah,
And
that feels really big.
you're going to write down all the incredible things she did. And then,
Hmm.
so what I do in sacred ceremony is I write them all as I'm preparing. And I have my son who he can't write words. He just takes pencil. Well, now he can write words. But at the time when he was your son's age, he couldn't write words, but he could draw pictures. So, I would say, what would you like? And and I'm like, perfect, draw a picture of that. And I mean, at 2, he was not an artist by any means, and the picture did not look, but it didn't matter because when we came to the ceremony part, I was putting in my intentions of, I was like, oh, I remember this, and this is so incredible about who I am and what I did and what I do. And he was like, yeah, this is who I am and what I do. And he was a part of it, right? Like that was the other thing is for me, going from doing sacred ceremony by myself very methodically to doing it with a tiny human,
Yeah.
totally different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But it's it's great when you find a way to allow everyone to participate, and your husband, like I can feel his energy, he's lovely. His challenge right now is he wants to make you happy and he doesn't he doesn't know how. He doesn't know the right thing to say. You know, he doesn't know the solution and that frustrates the heck out of him. Like,
Hmm.
and so, he's trying to say all of the things and ultimately he's saying all the right things. He's saying some amazing things. And he gets it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He really, really gets it. And yet he also is like, there's a couple parts that he's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what you need to hear, but I know what you're saying. Like he feels you, which
Hmm.
he's not just hearing you, he feels you. And when humans come together at that level, this is when, like, I have goosebumps. It's like pure magic happens, This is when the biggest things in creation and human history occur because we feel each other. And feeling literally means I get you. I understand why you have to do this. And I'm here to not only support you, but to help you make it happen.
Hmm.
And that's tricky because there's a lot of times where, when you go into your fears, he's going to be like, wait, 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 you can't go there. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't feel like that's support, but that's the most divine support there is, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
really good at that. So, like, they want to highlight, they're just really like, it's funny because they're like, nope, bring the spotlight back here, bring the spotlight. Like, they want that focus there on him for that. So, you can really understand that sometimes it will come across as criticism or it will come across as harsh words. But for him, he's like, no, we got to do this because we're meant to do this. So let's figure out this way how to do it. But when you're in that fear of, I need to bring my old self with me, you can see where that how are we going to make this work, right? And that frustration comes up, and he's divine. He's lovely. Um, and it's really cool because your son's so super cute. He's like, yeah, that's why I picked him. So, like, our children pick us, right? And they
Yeah.
know what they're getting into. And, he's just, he's like your son, he's really cute. He says, your tenacity and, your husband's commitment are what is going to make your son magic.
Mm.
And
Love
so,
that.
yeah, it's remembering that that combination is the foundation of your relationship.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's when he's committed to something, it's always being able to pull yourself back and go, okay, it's not personal. Even though it feels personal, it's his level of commitment is next level. Like most people
Hmm.
don't get him because he's all in, all
Yeah.
in.
That's for sure. Yeah.
But your level of tenacity and tenacity is like um I'm going to get to the top no matter what. Like if I have to claw my way out of a well where there is no footholds, no like I'm going to do it. And so you can see how it's awesome. It's like the two of you um you came together energetically attracting that powerful force of massive accomplishment. Like it's just in both of you. And so it's remembering that when you're frustrated, take a breath and come back and just listen. Just listen to what he has to say. And instead of listening with the, oh my gosh, he's saying things to try and like do it his way, listen with the, what's he saying underneath? What's the bigger picture? Because he has a
Hmm.
bigger picture just like you.
Hmm.
And you guys are masters. Again, manifestation is all about seeing the bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's really good at it too.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to allow that to come in. Yeah, it's really cool. So there's going to be some overlapping of what you're doing and what he's doing going forward, which is
Mm.
also, I mean, and when I say that, it's career focused, career minded will be some overlapping. So it won't just be family related, it will be life related. It will
Mm-hmm.
become, just a part of everything you're doing. And don't resist that. Don't
Okay.
resist it. Don't need to be the one that does what you've done because you've always done it because he makes you better and you make him better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
He's
tricky,
gonna be
right?
so happy to hear
Well,
this.
but it's tricky because we get into this like we're independent and we've fought so long to get out of where we were to get to where we are. And
Hmm.
it's really tricky to let someone come in and be like, okay, yeah, you can do this with me, but I really want to just keep doing it my way. And
I'm very much like that.
right, right. But what they're showing is it's his time too.
Hmm.
And because of the nature of both of you. So I've worked with a lot of people and over the last 20 years. And honest to goodness, a lot of the time it's time for one and the other one waits and then it's their time. But you guys, it's both of your time now, which is extremely unique.
Hmm.
Extremely unique. And it like the overlapping is allowing yourself to be open to more integration of how life is going to work on all levels.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
come back to like the way I'm seeing it, it's like it's so cool. Um, it's like I'm seeing both of you just like relaxing, laying down on your bed, your son's sitting there playing and you're just writing, okay, what's the most important thing to us as humans?
Hmm.
Right? Like what's the most important and you're each writing it and then it's like, okay, well, what's our most important thing as how we live our life, right? And then what's our most important thing about family, right? Like, so you want to hit all your seven categories. So the first is your yourself, like how you want to live personally, right?
Hmm.
Being of purpose, and then it's home, community, your relationship, your like love connection, which is different than community, and then family is different again,
Hmm.
and then your higher calling, community. Gosh, I'll have to email you if I forget, but
Okay.
I don't know if I've hit all seven. But anyways, so but ultimately I see you guys writing them down because and it's not judging each other. It's then going, okay, now let's look at what we've each written.
Hmm.
What's important because they're showing you're going to be very surprised to find that a lot of your bigger picture stuff aligns, but you use very different words to describe the same thing. So you're
Hmm.
thinking we're on a different page when really you're on the exact same page with what matters and what's important.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just the way you communicate it is unique to each of you based on your history, your life, your experience. So
Hmm.
don't let that little bit of communication hinder your ability to move forward as a force to be reckoned with is really how I'm seeing it. You have so much potential and opportunity to just change the world, change how things are seen, how people see themselves. But if you can't let each other see it in each other, you can't do it.
Hmm. Yeah, this feels it's really resonating. And I don't know why I have so much resistance to, like you said, like that independence and still holding on to that old part of me. And like I'm sure the ceremony will help me because yeah, I have so much resistance to doing this like as a family and like with my husband and like I don't know why. Like I just like I'm clinging to, but
Well,
I know everything
and
you're saying is like I need to let it go.
right, but you like, so here's what I'm feeling. So when you were younger, right, and you were defined by a certain belief system, and then you overcame that belief system to then be defined by this new one where I'm independent, I can do anything, that I set my mind to, and you've decided that being part of a partnership is less valuable than being as powerful as you are.
Mm-hmm.
But what if this partnership was always divinely meant to be?
I mean, I guess
And
it was. Yeah.
right. And that both of you have incredible personal and universal gifts to contribute. And there was a reason that you came together so that
Mm-hmm.
your life could be made better and his life could be made better.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that your work becomes less than because someone else is getting credit for it. It means that it becomes more than because now you're able to reach more people. You're able to
Mm-hmm.
reach way more men than ever before. Even though you were working with some men, now it will be lots of men. But guess what? You get to be working with couples and with families,
Mm-hmm.
things that you never understood before because you were a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of people in the space of family that are struggling. They're struggling to um, they're struggling to survive. And what they mean by that and what they're showing me is mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. And you have the ability to hit every single one of those clear and center. It's like, when you hit a nail and some people are like, oh, and you hit the nail and it goes in sideways or you hit it with the side. But when you and your husband come together, you hit every single one, bam, 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 right on the head. They're in the first try and it's done and you move on and you help more people.
Wow.
But you can't do that if you don't let him in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? Listen,
Yeah.
listen to him and you can trust him
Mm-hmm.
is, it is, y- it's not that you can just trust him. You can trust his judgment and his level of intimate respect. And what I mean by that is he understands what you're saying. He
Mm-hmm.
feels you. He's not just listening, okay?
Yeah.
He feels you. And that means that when you say something, he's like, yeah, I get it. And you're like, but do you really? He gets it on a level that most people will never understand.
Mm-hmm.
And your fear is, but does he really? Because there hasn't been anyone else in your whole life who's been all in. And
Mm-hmm.
you've trusted him, but now you got to go to that next level where you let him all the way in. And that writing of what you want and what he wants, and then you go, okay, how are we going to create this together? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
possible. And you know that because you're the manifester,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then you go, okay, well, what's the most important one? Let's start with that. And then you
Mm-hmm.
just you just work down the list. But the cool thing is the list is going to change and you keep letting it change because you're going to get one thing and then you're both going to go, oh, is the next thing what we actually want? Let's go back to the list and let's reconvene and feel into. And I would say like pick a day, maybe it's the first of every month and you have a bonfire, you have a whatever night, like a vision board night, right? But it's
Yeah.
it's it's that connection time where you're both like, okay, what's important to us now? Because one of the biggest things that people do is they overlook evolution.
Yeah.
And evolution means we're going to change our minds. And
Mm-hmm.
because why? Because we grow. And as you grow and you expand, you have more experience, you have more perspective. And if you don't change your vision to allow for the perspective you now have, then nobody can move forward. And that's where a lot of relationships get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can see that's where it's actually really cool because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to take old you with all this new perspective and fit old Tara into this new perspective. And it's like, it's like the vehicle, like the tires are locked, right? Like you can't go forward,
Mm-hmm.
but you're meant to. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
just let her go. But with a big giant hug and a celebration that says thank you for being you and getting me to where we are now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Good. Yeah. Emotional. Very seen. Um,
But
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to see inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much power, there's so much strength. And, you know, the fear is just, it comes from a place of knowing what you're meant to do at a level you're meant to do and being terrified that what happens if I don't fulfill that? How am I going to feel?
That is,
And
yeah, that is everything. That's
and
like my
that's what,
biggest fear.
but that's what makes people want to work with you
Yeah.
because they know how committed you are
Mm-hmm.
to who you are and what you're meant to be doing. It's also what makes you so incredible because you keep growing, because you keep learning.
Thank you. I yeah, I'm kind of speechless because I literally I just thought this was going to be like a podcast interview. I wasn't expecting it, and like the timing of all of this is just really great, like very divine. Of all the realizations I've been having and everything that's kind of been unfolding over the last month, and I just feel like this was like a culmination of everything I needed to hear that I've been kind of resisting looking at.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And you're so open and it's amazing because when you first came on, you were nervous, right? Your energy
Yeah.
was nervous. You were talking really fast and then there was a moment where I was like, okay, I need to connect with her soul and we need to relax and we need to go to that place where you're calmer so you can get the energy. And it was really cool. There's like a shift and look at now you're like butter. You're just so
Mm-hmm.
smooth and so calm and you felt it. But that's because your heart's open, Tara. You're
Mm-hmm.
so open to truth. Like it gives me goosebumps because that's the kind of humans like you. We need you. We need humans who want to see the truth and, who recognize that you're struggling because there's a reason. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because there's more to learn. And
Mm-hmm.
you're in a place of, I need to see it. Like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And you did it. You did it. You asked the question and the universe went, here, right? And Susan
Yeah.
called and was like, Tara, do you want to be
Yeah.
on Michelle's show?
Yeah. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
amazingly divine.
It really is.
So are you working one-on-one with clients right now? Or how are you working with your clients right now?
I have a few one-on-one clients, but I'm definitely I'm kind of closing that down. Like I just don't have the desire to do one-on-one. It feels too draining for me.
Yep.
So I have like a group program that I love so much, and I basically like drop in there every single day and give like a riff of kind of whatever is coming up for me or what for answering their questions. So kind of what you were saying, like and it's a large group and I really would love to grow it. So that's where I'm kind of placing all my focus right now. It's called The Collective, and it's a and the reason why I love it so much is because like you said, I'm always growing and evolving, and I was really struggling because I would create these programs that I'd be so excited about, and then I'd be like on to the next thing, and I'm like, I don't really want to sell that anymore because I've grown so much. So The Collective is kind of my solution to be able to still deliver everything I'm learning every single day
That's
to people,
awesome.
and have it all in one place, and then they get access to my programs and my membership, and it's like just one big manifestation kind of hub.
That's okay. So can I just say I love the name because my community is called the Authentic Human Collective.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, mine's the Manifestation Collective.
I love it. It was like the
Yeah.
perfect name. Anyways, okay, so Manifestation Collective, how can people get in there? These are people who want to know what do they want to know? You're the people that you're helping the most, what do they want to know?
Yeah, so really it's I mean it's 100% women in there. It's not for men aren't excluded, but like you said, that's kind of my specialty. And really it's just helping people create their dream lives while simultaneously really freeing themselves within their bodies, because like you said, it can really hold you back so much. So my intention, they're getting like my dream body course, my 12-week course, all of my dream body kind of content that will help them learn intuitive eating, freedom from food, love their bodies, and also use the power of their mind to also transform their bodies if that's what they desire, towards health, healing, weight loss, whatever it is that you desire. Like I'm moving through like a prolapse after pregnancy and feeling as strong and fit as I can. And I was held back by my body for so long. And I
Yep.
don't want anyone to feel that way. I want them to move powerfully towards what they want to create and not have their body be an issue. And because like I know body stuff inside and out, that's kind of like my avenue. But definitely my passion is like you said, like living your fullest, highest potential in life. Like not there's nothing holding you back when you can kind of move through these blocks. So that's my goal with people, is to really help them see alternate perspectives and help them move through these kind of ideas that they've been maybe having about themselves or their lives, and see what's truly available to them and help them move towards that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, and I feel like there's going to be a couples program coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that would be super
Yeah.
interesting.
The couples
I'm
manifestation, like that's massive.
Yeah. Well,
Because
even like it was interesting when you said us working together, because my husband's an osteopath and incredibly talented, and he works from home and helps people heal their concussions. And I'm so into healing with the mind, and we've always talked about coming together. Like he wants to have a center where like I'm helping people with their mindset towards healing and shifting their limiting beliefs and blocks around like a lot of people come in and they have such an identity of like I've had this concussion or this issue for my entire life, like I'm never going to heal. I've seen every single practitioner, and I want to work with them on like releasing those blocks so they're totally open to the treatment so they can actually like see the progress. So yeah, that kind of feels
100%.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh
Mhm.
my God. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's good. Everything they said, it's like already there. It's already happening and it's amazing. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Tara, this has been amazing. So, what is your website? Where can they find you?
Just head to tarabrunette.com
Okay.
slash TMC times dream body. I could post a link for you, or Instagram is the best way. That's where I hang out the most. Tara Brunette Mindset on Instagram.
Awesome.
And I have a podcast too. So
Oh, what's your podcast?
Tara Brunette Mindset.
Yay. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, Tara, this is so amazing. I know that there's just so many people who are going to not only love what you do, but they're going to feel the truth of who you are and what you have to offer them. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate you being so open and trusting me with your heart and with your soul today and sharing those messages. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was like such a revelation for me, and like I'm so grateful that I was able to have this opportunity and receive like your guidance and hear everything like that has really unlocked something big for me. So I'm really excited. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.